Robbins, Illinois is a black town located southwest of Chicago. Incorporated in 1917, it is one of the oldest African American incorporated towns in the U.S., and it still stands today. However, its history, along with the history of black towns, has been largely forgotten and overlooked. Black towns are defined as separate settlements with at least a 90% black population. Black towns were born out of the frustration blacks felt from not feeling accepted or even tolerated in American society. Black people's desire for freedom was the main motive behind establishing black towns. Historian Melissa Stuckey explained what black towns represented to black people. Both before and after emancipation, independent black communities, incorporated or not, represented black people's attempts to establish autonomous communities free from white surveillance and control. The sovereignty afforded in such places was central to African American desires for and concept of freedom. The settlers of Robbins also had this desire for freedom and isolation. They practiced this freedom by establishing the first black-owned airport in the U.S., the Robbins Airport, built in 1931. A group of black aviators, including John C. Robinson, Cornelius R. Coffey, Harold Hurd, and Janet Bragg, established the Robbins Airport. Leading up to this, in the mid-1920s, Robinson and Coffey applied to Curtis Wright Aeronautical University, an aviation school in Chicago, but they were denied entry. When they showed up for classes, they were offered their money back. They said, "We don't accept colored students," said Coffey. Coffey sued for racial discrimination. However, a Curtis Wright flight instructor was impressed by Robinson and Coffey after seeing them build their own airplane. As a result, the administrators agreed to instruct them if Coffey dropped the racial discrimination suit. The men accepted this deal and were asked to teach other aspiring black aviators after graduating. Robinson and Coffey began teaching other black students to fly until racial hostility arose at Curtis Wright. Therefore, Robinson, Coffey, Hurd, Bragg, along with other black aviators, established their own organization called the Challenger Air Pilots Association to train black pilots and sought to build their own airport. Chicago area airports did not serve black people and did not even allow black aviators to land on their airstrips or get fuel for their planes. Hurd recalls, "We landed at the nearest airport and taxied up to the pump, and the guy looked up and saw us there and came out. He said, 'We don't serve you guys,' so we had to turn around and take off." Even more, Chicago would not permit the creation of a black-owned airport. Because of this, Robinson and Coffey went to Robbins, where their idea to build an airport was welcomed with open arms. Unfortunately, a windstorm destroyed the airport in 1933, and it was never rebuilt due to finances. However, the short-lived airport shows the resiliency of black aviators who resisted against racial discrimination by creating a pilot training organization and an airport for aspiring black aviators. Robbins, Illinois is one of many examples of how African Americans established their own town and businesses to resist against racial discrimination and fulfill their desires of freedom.